finally back. Fly Guy is still gone, guys. But it's time to have a good time on this show. I missed you guys. I hope you guys are ready. I'm getting set up still, so give me 2 seconds. Waiting on somebody to get on your level. Waiting on that one that could just switch up the flow. Party every weekend, but still like to smoke out. Here I am. Here I am. I'm here, y'all. All right, everybody. It's your man, Simeon Henderson, the Real Talk Podcast. The Fly Guy is still out of town kicking it, everybody. So I had to come on and hold it down. And we have a great show for you today. It has been awesome. Everything has been dealing with the greatness of women lately, Earl. That
You're welcome.
women have been running. How they say, who run the world?
Women.
Well, Beyonce say girls, we don't say women. But everything has been pretty cool. I'm talking about from the Olympics to basketball to Kamala Harris, and we have a special guest here today that I'm going to introduce in a second. But I've just been having a good time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the guest, and I'm going to let her. We have questions for her and things like that. But she's going to almost act as a co-host today because she's here, right? So I got her for a good 30 minutes or so. So we're going to have some fun today. And I just want to give a shout out to IntellectualRadio.com, iHeartRadio, my brother Earl Winfrey. I want to give a special shout out to my sister Wanda B. How you doing, sister? Praying for you. And everybody tuning in. We got a good show for you. All the women tuning in. Make sure you share this with your friends because tonight, Simeon, Mr. Chicago, Simbo, whatever you want to call me, I'm paying homage to the ladies. So all the ladies, all the business owners, the mothers, whatever you are, this show
ladies.
is the single ladies. This show is about you. Okay, this show is about you today. So let me start off by introducing my guest. I have Stacey Arrington. She is the chairwoman of Shy Gives Back. Stacey is a 20-year veteran maintaining her commitment to mentoring teens and young adults throughout Chicago communities. Also, she was acknowledged as an honoree by the governor of Illinois for her work in the community and her service throughout the state of Illinois. So what am I saying, people? The woman is bad. She's been doing bad things. She's been doing things that make a difference. She's a trailblazer, and she is awesome. And I have her right here on the show. Welcome, Stacey.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, no problem. So, Stacey, before we get into the questions, let me ask you this. What is your favorite thing about the Olympics right now?
That women are literally dominating it. I mean, you saw Simone Biles and her continued gold. She's actually a record breaker in her, sense of accolades with the Olympics. And it's just the beginning to the beginning.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. And it's so cool because her energy, it just transcends throughout her team. Everybody is so energetic, they're on point, and they're together. And it's good to see that synergy. And even spilling over into the men's gymnastics and the swimming and the basketball, the men's basketball, rugby. I mean, I've been watching it all, and I'm telling you, I was watching the women's rugby and the women's volleyball the other day, and I'm like, look at these women, man.
Yes.
Just stellar athletes, great people, and just doing big things, and it's great to see. And let me say this about the Olympics. Right now, we are winning a lot of medals. We are, I think right now we're at 20 plus medals, and we have the most medals, and we're just on top. Whether it's soccer, whether it's basketball, gymnastics, and I think swimming, and I think there's shot put, all kind of things. So it's going down. So guys, so I have Stacey here. Let's get into the questions, Stacey.
Okay.
I want to ask you this. Talk about Shy Gives Back. Now you're the chairwoman of Shy Gives Back. What impact has it made amongst the Chicago communities?
Well, I'll start with the history of Shy Gives Back. Shy Gives Back was developed and created almost like a brainchild, and um, in 2017 by its co-founders,
Mhm.
which are John Bodie, Sandy Robinson, and Corey Marshall. It started as actually the Chicagoland Toy Drive. They had a mission to um, have a collection of, let's say, 250 toys, and ended up collecting 500 toys. And it just became the culmination of what Shy Gives Back is right now. There are just so many separate entities and so many ways we actually give back. It was only due suiting for us to actually name it Shy Gives Back, because that literally is uh, the 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 soul of the organization, paying it forward.
And speaking of paying it forward and Shy Gives Back, it was an honor, everyone. I should say this. Last year, Shy Gives Back, they needed a host.
Yes.
And who better to call? Mr. Chicago. They
Absolutely.
called on Mr. Chicago to come in and host. And it was a ball. I'm talking about the celebration, the ceremonial part, giving back to the teachers that pour so much into the education of our young kids and the communities. I think it's really important because you guys do toy drives and scholarships and all that for the kids, but now you also do something for the adults because let's face it, there are no NBA players, there are no doctors, there are no lawyers, there are no teachers and philanthropists and business owners. There is no Earl the other Winfrey without going to school first.
Yeah, and let's just talk about it, because I think to have a event such as Teach to Give and not have it hosted by Simeon Henderson, first of all, let's just talk about it, okay? And he was the drive, the force of the energy, the spirit, not only feeding into his own soul because he is in the education system, and knowing that the room was filled with those who are often unseen,
Yes.
in an adult environment. And it's ironic that you bring that up, because we actually have our Teach to Give coming up August 7th at the Godfrey Hotel. I am very happy to say that we are so close to being sold out, y'all. So that one ticket that's left, good luck. However, you're definitely in for a ride if you stay tuned and join us on this journey for the next year and years to come, because it is an experience to not only thank the faculty and staff of the Society of those who nourish and literally feed our children on a regular basis, but it's also a time for you to fellowship and say face to face to those people that you love, thank you. It is a nomination process, and how it begins is the community actually nominates the teacher, the faculty, or the staff member. And through the blurb of how they feel about that teacher, the board, which is an acting board, we literally read every single comment, every
Wow.
single message, and we decide who um, uh, the person who actually goes to that next step to be honored during our Teach to Give honors event. And
Wow.
it is a beautiful event.
So you
Yeah.
guys, it's a process and you guys are adamant. I mean, that's great. So tell us, Stacy, talk to us about the levels of diversity and inclusion as a result of the programs offered by Shy Gives Back.
We have had the opportunity to take diversity, equity, and inclusion and create its own narrative for Shy Gives Back. Oftentimes diversity, equity, and inclusion speaks to the underserved Black and Brown communities, or those who are in the unseen. But recently, for example, for and around Mother's Day, we actually had a day of empowerment at
Mm.
Simpson Academy. that is also a place that adds another notch to the diversity, equity, and inclusion nod. And we were able to go into the school, which is a school that specializes in the education of teen moms.
Yes.
And we gave them a day of empowerment. We not only gave them resources such as bringing in a beauty team to literally make over these ladies and these girls and create a space so that they would have specialty made and professional mommy and me photos.
Mhm.
The following day, we actually had a panel event, which I moderated with I would say professional women who were not only teen moms, but also work in the industry of education, those who are leaders, CEOs, presidents of organizations of Black and Brown communities, to say, this is where you are.
Mm.
This is where you are, but this is not where you are. We have a path for you, and you're looking right at it. So we were able to actually give them that sense of a rainbow of saying, okay, this isn't exactly where I will land,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so much more out there for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's just looking at the things that you're doing. It's so instrumental into the community, and it's and what you're not only affecting young women, but you're affecting young men.
Mhm.
You're affecting parents, the community, and different things like that. And that's Shy Gives Back.
Yes.
Why don't you tell our audience about the Daisy Foundation? There's another one. The Daisy Foundation. We do.
I need to change shirts.
We
I need
we
to-
we,
I need
we
to
do
change
our
my shirt.
research here on the Real Talk podcast.
I see.
So anybody if you would like to add to the conversation, ask Stacey a question, ask myself a question, you can call in. The number is 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. While we're here, you can tune in and you can ask questions. Somebody said, yes, Stacy, setting by what is it? Setting by example. That she is. So tell us about the Daisy Foundation.
So Daisy Foundation is an organization that is quite similar to Shy Gives Back. The only difference is we actually serve the Chicago, Milwaukee, Houston, and Dallas community. We actually go and into these communities, and our focus, as of before this year, has been women and children. But most recently, we actually had a Father's Day makeover where we actually went to Roll 24, which is an amazing event venue, by the way, on 24th in Michigan. And we actually brought in men in our communities of Chicago, not just underserved communities, and we gave them a makeover.
Wow.
They had full barber experiences. They had shaves. They actually had haircuts by trained and very much so seasoned barbers to give them a sense of, yes, we see you. And, oftentimes, especially on Father's Day, they're also lost on the day that should belong to them. And we wanted to make sure they knew that we appreciated and valued their effort and input in our communities.
That is awesome.
Yes.
You see that, guys? I told you. So all the guys watching, this is about the ladies tonight, and we are paying homage to, and we are giving them their flowers. And we have Stacey Arrington right here on the Real Talk podcast with Simeon, Henderson, and the Fly Guy. Fly Guy isn't in right now, so it's just me. We're kicking it, having a good time.
I'll be the fly girl.
And yeah, there you go. So let me ask you this. Well, let me say this. First of all, I want to say congratulations on receiving the philanthropy Cloud Award of Excellence presented by J.P. Morgan Chase.
Yes.
Okay, how does it feel when you reflect and recap your work, which has earned notable recognition? When you get that recognition, because we do things selflessly, you do it from your heart, but to do it like that and then one day be recognized by an esteemed establishment, by your peers in the community, how does that feel?
It feels great to be seen. I mean, when I started this journey of philanthropy, it was something that was part of my DNA. My grandmother was the first lady of the church where my grandfather was the pastor, but she was also a social worker. So she would walk up and down the stairs at the projects and on Pine Street or wherever the projects were, and she would walk into the homes and do her social work thing. However, she would notice that there are things that were amiss. For example, the toddlers were fully growing out of their onesies, or, the shoes were not were kind of in disarray. So she would go to the Mayor-like house. Shout out to those who know what the Mayor-like house is.
On
And
Jackson.
yes, and created a partnership where these individuals are able to actually go to the Mayor-like house and actually pick out clothes for free and have that sense of, I would say, fullness, because, you can give all of the resources such as food and that nutritional aspect, but the clothing aspect is something that people often forget about.
Right.
So that was something that, we've always as a family cooked for the neighborhood and not just for our family, and, making sure that we pay it forward, with whatever little or, whatever we have. And it's part of, it makes sense. It's just like brushing your teeth.
It makes sense.
And it should be for everyone. There's no one that should be able to appreciate the little, the big, and anything in the middle, without saying, okay, how can I put my hand out and say, okay, let me give you a hand up or a leg up, or, just put someone in a position where they can either shadow and see what greatness look like, and what greatness look like for you may be different for someone else, especially if they're coming from a different environment.
Yes. And it makes a lot of sense, because a lot of times there's so much emphasis on feeding the homeless or feeding the people in need, and then they're full, but then their feet getting wet because they got holes in their shoes, or so that being able to hit both ends of the spectrum, that's a great thing. So guys, we are here with Stacey Arrington. She is an awesome woman, and she's doing great things, not only with Shy Gives Back, with the Daisy Foundation in the city of Chicago. She travels abroad, and she's doing it all. But what we want to know is, Stacey, is what are some best practices that you recommend for implementing the development of a greater and united Chicago?
Don't keep it inside. If there's something that you want to do, if there is something that you see a need within your community, or within a talent that you don't have, or something that you have within yourself that you can share, don't keep it within yourself. You have to share. Sharing is caring. So, each one teach one is always my motto. And I think it's very important that you put yourself in a position where you are placing that platform, whether someone's listening or not.
Yes.
I think it's important. And, Simeon, you're a great advocate for that, because you have your daily motivational and inspirational messages. That is something that I value 100%, because, there are days where, life is literally lifing. Okay.
Yeah.
And, there are things that are completely out of your control. But if you are placed in a position where you can actually hear that very short, brief set of words of encouragement, that's something that is beautiful. It's like a superpower of yours.
Thank you.
So I say, find your superpower and nourish it. Absolutely nourish it, and bring people in on it.
Yes.
Like-minded people for sure.
I'm so glad you said that. Everybody, you hear that? So it's one of those things, Stacey. We do things, and we do these selfless acts. Like, I've been doing the motivational videos for years. Literally, if you go down, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, we're talking about years. Like, that's not an exaggeration. But there were times when I would get just one person that would watch or say something, and it would be discouraging, because you like, I'm just really trying to help. I'm really trying to do something. But also, it comes through me to get to me as well. So, but someone would always give me a word of encouragement, like you just did, and just tell me, hey, that was a great word, or I needed that, or what. And I had to say, why are you doing this? Are you doing it for likes? Are you doing it from your heart? Because that's how you feel, and someone needs it. And that's where it stayed. And that's why I stayed consistent. So now more people are watching, and it's like, hey, you just started doing. No, I've been doing this. So the work that you're doing, I love it. I'm watching it. And speaking of black women, all the black women tuning in, watching, remember, this is for you guys. If you can't, call in at 708-223-8953. If you have a question for Stacy or myself, call on in. But now what I want to talk to the women about is I want to talk to the women about what's going on right now. And I'm talking about our Madam Vice President that's running for president. First of all, I never thought I'd see a black man win president.
I'm with her.
And then I never thought I'd see a black woman have the chance to win the presidency. And I just think it's an awesome thing.
Well, I think that it is about damn time. Okay. I can't say I'm surprised. I can't say that it is something that I am shocked by any means. It was a long time coming, and I'm excited about this transformation to what, you know, the world looks like with a woman in leadership. Someone like Kamala Harris is someone who definitely deserves to be there.
And a smart woman that knows what she's talking about. So we're talking about, and I think Donald Trump is scared to debate her.
And Buttigieg. I mean, all of them.
Let me just throw this out, because I have all type of friends that Democratic, Republican, whatever, Green, whatever. It's, to me, this is what it's about. It's about who and what is best for our country and for our people as a whole. Black people, white people, everybody. We need someone in there that is unscathed when it comes to the criminal justice system and different things like that. But I just think you like who you like, you go for who you go for. But at the end of the day, what do we want for America?
Don't you miss the days when I would say, debate was filled with facts or fact checkers instead of garbage?
Like truth, and not just talking.
The comics from the funny pages in the Sunday Tribune. I mean, I can honestly tell you that I'm excited about the fact that Kamala Harris is someone who not only stands very strong on what she believes on, but she has the facts to prove it. And she has the leverage because she's walked the walk. She's a tangible asset to sitting in that seat as the president of the United States. And I'm excited. I know that there are a lot of hurdles to kind of go through being a woman and being exposed for the most simplest things that happened so many years ago. If you're a woman who's single, why not date? Why not date whomever you like? And I mean, if what's his name, Montel Jordan, what's his name, the judge?
Singer?
No, did I say Montel Jordan?
You said Montel
this
Jordan.
Is how we do.
Yeah, that's Montel
Not
Jordan.
That one, the other.
You're talking about Judge Mathis.
No,
who? Judge O'Brown. Judge O'Brown. I don't know who you're talking about then, because I don't even know. Is he black?
He is. So back in the early 20s, late 1990s.
Oh, no.
I cannot remember his name to
If
save my
anybody knows
life.
what you're talking about, let us know.
But he was a judge, and she dated him during the time that she was dating. And she had a very, I would say, esteemed position in government as well. And when they asked her when she was on the red carpet, when she was with him, who was she with? He said that he was with Kamala Harris. And because of that, there's a lot of backlash that assumed by the Republicans that she's supposed to get because they assume that she slept her way through.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
To where she is right now, which I think is absolutely ridiculous.
But this is the thing. When you get in, I ran for office, and it was on a lower level, and I saw the backbiting, the backstabbing, the lying, the making up of fabricating of stories. So they're going to do this because they're trying to smear her name and things like that. But man, no one's really looking at that. We're looking at what's coming out of her mouth. What is she saying that's going to help this country? What is she saying that's going to put policies in place and it's going to be fair and different things like that? This is what we need to be looking at and listening to. And that's what I'm looking for. Some of our listeners said Montel Williams.
That's
Yeah, that was
that's
the
him.
song.
Look,
Yeah, Montel Williams.
I
That's the
could,
song she was.
thank y'all. I
Montel
appreciate
Williams.
it. Montel Jordan.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. Who is that? I am Robert. I am Robert,
yes.
and it's Chris. And thank you guys for helping us out with that.
Thank you guys. All I'm saying is it's different now. You
Yes.
have a woman who is not in her 70s, her
Mhm.
60s, her 80s, and she's there and she is saying that I am the person that should be standing there on that podium
Mhm.
in November because I am someone who is qualified for the
Mhm.
position, opposed, to the other person who sits, which is Donald Trump. And I think they're scared. I think they're
They are.
afraid. I think that they have nothing to stand on, which is why they go behind her. Oh, they attack her womanhood,
Yes.
which
Are
this
they
is
bogus? They're
2020,
bogus.
but
You,
it's
they're
2027
bogus.
now.
So first of all, do you hear what?
2027,
Does everybody
2024.
hear what Donald Trump calls Kamala? He calls her Kamala. Does everybody know who Kamala was? If you don't know who Kamala was a wrestler in the WWE. He's trying to be funny. Have you heard that, Earl? He calls her Kamala. He know damn well. Can I say damn?
I said it earlier, so I think
He
you're
know
fine.
damn well that this lady name is not Kamala, it's Kamala. But that's the shenanigans. These are the things that you have to deal with. But guess what, everybody? She ready. I'm telling you, she ready for it all. I love it when she said, I am going to earn. I am going to earn
Mhm,
the position.
mhm.
Not, I don't want it given to me. I'm going to earn it. And then in what 24 hours, she raised $80 million, $81 million.
Aside from the donations that have been, awarded to her due to the trust that society has in her, which pretty much tells me everything I need to know, I think she has the skill, she has the tenacity, she
Mhm.
has everything that is important when it comes to what a leader looks like. Let's take the gender male female off of the table and let's talk about who's qualified and who isn't qualified.
Yes.
Trump has never been qualified. I think the popular and what was very fascinating about Trump was he was different. He was a businessman. So there were a lot of people, even in my own household with my ex-husband, he had this mindset of, well, he's a businessman, so he's a person who could take our country to a different level. I was like, but he's a effing idiot. Excuse my language. I hope, Mom, you're not watching this, but he is an idiot. To be able to not be able to complete a sentence without a insult
Mhm.
shows the lack of intelligence of an individual.
Because
And that's how
yeah,
I feel about it. I don't want that person at the, the in the UK or in, Korea, anywhere speaking on behalf of me and my family.
yeah.
I don't think he's ever been qualified. So it doesn't matter if Kamala was there or not, or if Biden, praise for Biden, y'all. I do think that he is just disqualified and he should be disqualified for running. But
He too
this is where we
old.
are.
Guys, y'all watching me right now. Y'all watching the show. This is why I like Biden, but this is why he's disqualified right here. Huh? What'd you say?
No, stop.
What?
Cut
What
it
I
out.
No, I'm being silly, but I'm for real. But but it's just one of those things where I'm glad that we're in a position that we're in. I'm glad she stepped up. I'm excited to see what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. And I'm watching the process. I'm engulfed in the process. And I just want you guys to make a good decision, not for yourself, not only for yourself, but for our country and the betterment of our country. And that's all I say. Teddy Biggums, what's going on, sir? I see you. Shy gives back. Stacy, they shouting you out, Stacy. They shouting you out. So, Stacy, before we get ready to get out of here, this is so cool. I just really enjoy being able to have real conversations with real people and give a little knowledge and insight because there's so much going on in the world. There's so many negative things. And there's things I wanted to talk about, but I don't want to talk about it because I really don't want to talk about the negative stuff right now. That I'm talking about that really, there's a time and place for it. but it's just some of those things where, you'll start talking about it and it'll really tug on your spirit and your soul, and it's like a downer because things are happening that we know shouldn't be happening.
Well, let's talk about the platform that you have.
Hmm.
Whether your conversation and the subject line of it is that of negative or positivity, it's the life of your audience.
True.
So I think it's important to talk about those things and talk about your thoughts and opinions based on it, and to understand that, first of all, when it comes to negative conversation or the downside of what society looks like right now, I think it's important to understand that your opinion is only your opinion.
True.
Now, to be able to quantify that in a statement or conversation, not sure how that actually happens. I am very opinionated, y'all.
And
But
that's cool.
yeah,
And I think we have to learn how to respect people for their opinions. And what I want people to stop doing, I want people to stop being puppets. And what do I mean by that? I want you to start researching for yourself, looking for yourself. Stop letting someone tell you that something is bad or something isn't this or something isn't that, and you take what they say or you see what's going on and you just go with the flow instead of going for yourself, being nosy, finding out what you need to find out for you,
mhm.
not letting Stacy tell me, oh well, you shouldn't do that because of this. Okay, I hear you, but let me find out why or what's going on so I can know. So be a person that's inquisitive, that's curious, and that's unapologetically you. I'm sorry, unapologetically you, and don't be scared to step out and do what you need to do. So, Stacy, let me ask you. This is the last thing because we're gonna get out of here, guys. We're not gonna hold you all night, but I want to ask you this, or I want you to say something to the people. What do you think that we need to do as a community that hasn't been happening when it comes to staying together during the current climate and what appears to be people going separate ways or not banding together for the greater cause of our communities and our country? What do you think we need to do?
I think we need to redirect our household investments. If you think about it, I have teenage children. I have one that's graduated, and she will be a freshman at Spelman. Very proud and
Yeah.
excited for her. But I have a son also who's 15, and they all want the Balenciaga gym shoes and the Jordans, and I don't know much about that stuff, but all I know is on prom day there were more Louboutins, okay, seriously, under the table at prom than on their feet. And I thought that was ridiculous for a multi-thousand-dollar investment.
Mhm.
You take those investments and you donate and you invest them into your community. You take those funds, and it doesn't have to be all of it. You take your paycheck, and let's say you make it. Let's talk about it and be real with it. The median salary in our underserved communities is, I would say, maybe $60,000 a year.
Okay.
So the amount that you're spending on the lashes, on your clothes going out, or going out and birthday and vacations and things of that sort, take a certain portion of that out and you donate it to your community. It doesn't have to be through a church. Find an organization such as Shy Gets Back or Daisy
Or to
Foundation
be symbolic
or
foundation.
the Be Symbolic Foundation. We're going to talk about your golf
Yeah.
event that's coming up soon, but you donate it into your community, because we will guarantee that the money that you invest will go so much further than the lashes. When you slept in those lashes and you wake up the next morning and they all on one side of your eye. I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it real, y'all.
This
But
is a woman saying it's not me.
I'm just saying, I'm kidding, but kind of not. But seriously, I think it's very important that we literally take a look at where our finances are going, because there are other communities where they are regularly donating and investing within their community.
Yes.
It is time that the Black and brown communities invest in themselves. It is vital. It is very important. And we can't expect the Obamas and the Kamala Harrises of the world to save us.
Yes.
We have to save ourselves.
There it is. We have to learn how to save ourselves. We have to do it. It has to be important to us. I tell people all the time, your success can't be more important to me than it is to you.